Yeah, hi. Listen, I find I have to put a bit of a prelude onto this particular video. The reason being is because there's so many different variables that have to be done. It gets very, very complex, and I'm just hoping that whoever decides to watch these videos will sort of bear with me and all of the work that's involved in it. Now, as far as I know, this particular machine, the HM54GV, is the first one to be modified in Australia. I could be wrong, I don't know, but it's a different work that I've done on it with these particular motors and things like this. So if you can bear with me, I hope you enjoy the series. I'm not sure exactly how many there will be, but like I said, it's a very time consuming, and it's just so many bits and pieces that have to be done to achieve what I have achieved or am going to achieve. Yeah, and thanks for watching this little bit of a prologue, and we'll catch you soon. This is my Hafco Metal Master. It's a HM54GV mill. Now what I did was, when I purchased it, there was this actually power feed was already on the side here. That's that one there. Now what I'll be doing is I've got one which is for the, now this is the Y, which goes actually in and out, so that part goes in and out, so that is your Y. This one goes vertically, which is Z. Now both of these power feeds are different. So what happens is the power feed for that is this particular one here from Hafco. As you can see there, that's a CE500P. So that's the Y power feed. Now, like I said, you can see that's made in Taiwan. The power feed, that's their reference, that's the brand name, etc. Everything's there. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to put that one on first, and then once I've got the new one fitted on there, then I'll be fitting it onto the Z here. Now the Z actually goes straight vertically up and down. Well, if people don't know, that's a Z. So you've got an X which goes left to right, you've got the Y which goes forwards and backwards, and then you've got the Z or Z, whatever you want to call it, that goes up and down. So I'm going to put those two power feeds in, and then we'll go from there. Alright, we've got the box here. That's for the, as you can see, it's the power feed. It's the line model. Now they'll be going actually on here. So as you can see, let's see what's inside it. Put that up there for a minute. Put the right way up, of course. Attempt to do it. Yeah, that'll be your brass gear, etc. in there, I presume. Yeah, we'll pull that out in a minute. Just get rid of all this stuff here. Nothing left in there. So what we've actually got here is, that's how the motor will sit. I'll put it down this way because I don't want to damage the cable there. Now in here there's a set of spacers. These are the brackets, etc. for the cut-off switch in here. Here we go. Put more bits and pieces in here. Put this over here for a minute. Right, that is the actual drive gear. That's the other part of the mechanism that goes onto here. So that'll go in like so. So I'll just put that down there for a minute. This is a bracket that has to go in there. first one here, for example, which is on the side, that's this one. I've got it all off at the moment, checking it out, and I re-greased everything, re-lubricated, whatever. So that is the X going across from left to right. This one that we're going to be doing will be the Y, which will be going forwards and backwards, and that one's your Z or Z, which is on your knee. So I'll be doing both of these pretty well one after the other one. Now what happens is, now these ones here on the original, you just undo a thumb screw and it's off. Or with the handle itself, that's your hand piece, that's just got a nut on it and a couple of bolts sort of thing. So what will happen is I have to turn around and make a brand new template which will fit in here. So it'll be a brand new template going across there, and then there's a bearing and bushing there. So I'll be taking all of this part off. That's that part. Whereas this one here, that's your handle, so that comes off anyway. These have got an Allen key holding that piece on, so that's pretty well like that. That just comes straight off. Now that is in two pieces, so you've got an inner and outer sort of thing, as you can see. Right, so that's that part. That is your actual ring, which shows you all your degree marks and everything else. Then this part here, which I've got the screws out of, that is a piece that comes out. And what happens is this particular shaft, which goes back way under there somewhere, yeah, I don't know, no, you won't be able to, yeah, only just, that goes back, and that's the winder which goes onto your vertical up and down. Now this piece here, that's actually a bushing mechanism incorporated in there with an oiler and everything. So what I'll be doing is I have to make a new one of these, and then that will be coupled up with this spacer type mechanism. So what I'll do is I'll make one of these, but with the insides of that, so I can bush that out and things like that. So that will be going in like so. So what will happen there is I won't be using these particular parts here, these 3 bolt holes, because I'll have it all as one unit, so I won't have to bolt this piece on. The only thing I'm going to have to do is put 2 screws, which are these 2, which are around about 2 and 10 o'clock, and that depends on where I have it, is where the unit will sit vertically on an angle or whatever. So what I'll do is I'm going to put it up so it's sitting pretty well vertically straight up and down, same as this one here. So I've got the unit to make there and the one there. So anyway, let's go try and do it. So but what we're doing is, that is the original one where it's got 4 holes, and it's just like that, and that's all the holes. It the center is actually part of the bushing mechanism for the shaft to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this an extra 25, make it 25 mil, and this one I'll leave the same thickness, but eventually it's only going to be 3 holes with those 2 holes. So we're going to readapt that, extend that, and then that will have a hole in like that part there. Of course we have a hole same as that, only I'll put a bushing in there, brass bush, so then the shaft can go on the bush. Right, what we're doing here is I ended up finishing this unit off. That actually goes into the actual knee. I'll show that to you shortly. Now what happens is it's 4140, but the thing is that what I'd like to do is put a brass bush in, so that's what I'm doing here. So first of all I'm going to bore it out to suit the actual shaft that's in there at the moment, and then that section from there to there will actually fit inside here, which will fit inside that unit there. And then what I'll be doing is I have to recess about 1/8 of an inch inside here, 1/8 of an inch, what's that, about 3.5 mil, something like that. So anyway, I'll show that when we come to it, but the main thing is to try and get that bored out first, and so it works properly. So as far as I can see, I have to take out at least 2 mil at the moment. Just got a rough old sample shaft here. Whoops. Yeah, that's a no-go. So that's nice and snug there. There's no movement. So I'll just try that in there now and see how we go. Alright, I've just checked that bush. That is nice and snug on there. It's not tight, but just nice and snug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to part the end off it now. And then once I've parted that off, then I'm going to bore that out and then fit the bush in there. And then if necessary, we'll just touch it up so it'll fit back on again. Alright, all we've done there is you saw we just put a bit of a chamfer on here, on there, so that'll make it easier for it to go over the shaft. Alright, we're working on this unit here. That's just got 2 bolts holding it in. Now we've made the new piece that goes in. It's got a bush and everything goes inside. Now what it is that this is the piece here, and what it has to do is look very similar to this one. So we need 3 big holes and then the 2 smaller ones. So at the moment, because we have to drill 3 holes, and it's approximately 55mm OD according to what this unit is. If I go from that side to that side, it's 55mm across. So what it is, the first one will be there and it has to stay within that same radius. So well well, I'm hoping. So what we're doing is we've come up to our DRO here, and what we're going to do is we've got everything zeroed. We don't need that zero, but we'll press it anyway. So what we do, we press our hole set or your circle section, and we've got enter on that, and we're going to start on the 0 position. 0 position for myself is going to be directly right there. All right, so anyway, we'll come back on here, and so that's going to be 0. We'll just press enter and go next position. We've got our diameter, and as I said, we're on 55mm, so we go enter. Now the first hole Well, there's 3 holes, so we got 3, so that'll enter on that one. We'll go down again, and your starting angle we've got on 0, so that's okay. And then we'll enter that, and we'll go position number 1. Now position number 1, or sorry, the ending angle is 240 degrees, so we're actually doing a circle, so it's 0, 120, 240, so we're doing 3 holes. So we'll go enter on that, so that'll be our ending, and then we'll start. So now according to that we have to go to that 27,500, right? So what I'll do now is yeah, okay, we'll go to on the X, which I'll have to try and hold this camera or whatever, and we're going to go to 0. Oops, too far. Okay, we're on 0, so therefore we're drilling a hole right in there. So before it goes well, because it's all by hand at the moment, well, can't even drill that yet. Alright, because we've got on 0, we've got our marking just down here. Now what we're going to attempt to do is I'm just going to put a centre pop mark in there. I don't want much, because then I can just recheck to make sure we're in the right position. So that's 1, right, don't want any more than that. So now from there we go on to hole number 2, and hole number 2 we have to bring the X to 41, or back to 0, sorry, so which means we're bringing that across. Alright, so now we've got it pretty well lined up. That'll be there. As you can see, the X and the Y is on 0, and it's on the second point. So what we'll do is we'll just tag that. That's about all we need. Then we'll come back to here again. We'll put it on to number 3 hole. So now we have to go on the Y. We're going back to the other way. Which I'll just bring it back down to here. As you can see, that's going back. Okay, so right now that's on 0, 0 according to that, which means we're on the 3rd hole, and if we're lucky it's all going to line up. So all we do now is we're going to have to measure it up with the verniers, make sure they're equal distance, and also I'll just make sure they all look pretty good. So then that means once I've drilled those and countersunk them, then I'll be able to bolt it on here, and I can also work out where the 2 other holes go. Now what we're going to do is countersink that. Or not countersink, we're going to take it down so we can put a Allen key headed bolt in there. That's pretty close. I'll just set the depth on that now. Right, now we'll go back to number 2 position. Just to check it in. So that sits really nice there. Alright, so that part of it's finished now, so what we need to do now is work out where the other two holes are going, but before we do that I'm going to fit it up on the knee itself and then see how we go from there. At the moment we've got this adapter fitted, that's adapter with the extended bush inside, and as you can see, I think you can see, yeah, inside there's a brass bush. Now what I've had to do was I've had to recess that bush, and the reason for that is because we've got this handle to go on, that has to go on, and that's actually recessed in about 9mm, because what happens, this part here, when that's screwed in, this part here has to hold the actual bearing system on the motor, and I can show you that later on. But at the moment that all bolts up quite well. The next step is that from this point here up to the brass bush there's approximately 30mm, or say 31mm of thread going to go in there, and that is 3/4 UNF thread. Well, that's the way it is. It's a metric lathe, it's got a few UNF threads on there. And then what happens is from there, coming back this way, it's taken out to about 18mm, and that is so that the, I don't know if, yeah, you can just see that you got the thread inside there, then there's the shaft, which by the time that screws on, that will be going over the top of that. So the thread on inside there will screw from there right up into there. Once it's sitting right in, that's already adjusted to suit, so that the actual motor will, or the flange on the motor will sit flush with that. Then I have still to work out 2 holes on this section here to be at the 2 and the 10 o'clock position, and then the motor bolts up into it, and then that'll be sitting on top of that. Then we just put a few little bits and pieces on, like the gearing and that, and it's finished. Yeah, well, anyway, we are getting there, so we'll carry on again.